How strong was Whitebeard? Shirohige, yes, that's how we called him in Japanese. Shirohige Edward Newgate, the man who took on the world government in one of the greatest arcs in the One Piece story, Marineford. He stood in front of the throne that Roger left behind, the Pirate King throne, though never taking the throne itself. And let's be honest here, a lot of people are going to be thinking, yes, Whitebeard is one of the strongest characters. He's known as the strongest man in the entire One Piece world when he was alive. And it would be kind of crazy to even do a video on how strong is Whitebeard, because we already know, everybody in the One Piece fan base knows he's the strongest man. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I differ when it comes to the opinion of Whitebeard and his power. And in today's video, I will be discussing Whitebeard back in the Roger era and Whitebeard back in the era of the Yonkos. I'm not gonna just say he's Yonko level. I'm gonna go even more deeper into how strong Whitebeard is by looking at some of the moments in the One Piece story. Yes, I'm excited to do this video. I am very hyped. Now, the first thing I want to talk about in the whole situation with Whitebeard is the Shanks versus Whitebeard moment. Now, we know Shanks came on the ship. He pretty much flexed his Conqueror's Haki, showing his muscles, and Whitebeard came to like, yo, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? So we saw the moments there, some small talk. The scar on Whitebeard's chest was throbbing because of Shanks, who could have reminded him of Goldie Roger. Now, I do want to talk about the main thing here is the situation where Shanks and Whitebeard clash. Now, some people say that it was hype for Shanks because he has one arm and he's able to clash with the strongest man, and we saw Whitebeard take two of his hands. But some people say it's hype for both these characters because we know that the clouds actually split. Yes, it seemed like the sky was splitting in itself. Two Yonkos clashing their Conqueror's Haki through the roof, and it just shows you that a guy who looks pretty much sick, he has all these hospitalized things to help him out, but he's pretty much clashing with a guy in his prime, Shanks. It's very hyped to see that Whitebeard, even though he was sick and old, he can do things that are not perceivable to old people. Yo, look at that's what Oda said. Oda loves hyping up older characters. Now, I'm gonna make the assumption that Whitebeard had all three types of Haki. We see that Conqueror's Haki, I believe, when he was clashing with Shanks, I believe he showed Conqueror's Haki there, though it was never confirmed. And we know that Marco, I think it was Marco or one of the other Whitebeard pirates who mentioned that Whitebeard had Conqueror's Haki after seeing Luffy's Conqueror's Haki. So we confirm he has Conqueror's Haki. The fact that he's able to go at the admirals shows that he has armor Haki, and observation Haki is something that I would just assume that he has. So I believe he has all three types of Haki. Now, how far and strong are his three types of Haki? I definitely feel like they were stronger in his prime. As we've seen when Rayleigh was showcasing his Conqueror's Haki, he only did that a couple times, then he said, I'm too old, you know. So it showcases that maybe when you're older in age, your Haki ability is lesser. So it just shows you how hype he is. If that's how good his Haki is in his old age, I wonder how strong it was in his prime. Now, when it comes to Whitebeard and his Devil Fruit power, his fruit power, it had the ability to destroy the world. Yes, the ability to destroy the world. And that just shows you how hype it was. It can cause earthquakes, tsunamis. We've seen the destructiveness. Yo, it seems like he's actually breaking the air, and I feel like we didn't really see the full aspect of his fruit power, because if you guys notice, we see some moves like the tilt move and like some other crazy moves, but if you notice that it was kind of vague when he was using his fruit power, I didn't really see any named attacks. So I'm thinking, is the reason why he didn't do that many crazy attacks is because, first of all, his own people are on his side. He would have hurt his own Whitebeard pirates and the allies. Or another reason why is because Blackbeard is a character who recently stole Whitebeard's fruit power after the Marineford War, and I feel like Oda maybe was trying to hide more of Whitebeard's power because he didn't want to showcase, because Blackbeard will be showcasing the more epic powers, the more crazy powers that Whitebeard didn't showcase, and it'll be hype because we're probably gonna see those powers in a Whitebeard flashback. I can't wait to see some named attacks with that fruit. It's gonna be crazy. And yeah, Marineford, yeah, you know you're really badass. Yes, you know you're really badass when you're casually wrecking giants. Now, I do want to say in Marineford, Luffy did casually gear third a giant, so it didn't really hype for the giants in a sense. But we've seen Whitebeard, the way he destroyed the one giant, I forgot his name, what it was, but he destroyed his mask. And we saw the other giant, I think it was Jack the Giant, the one we seen earlier on the East Blue. He got wrecked by Whitebeard. Whitebeard pretty much wrecked the whole environment. Everyone would have to grab onto something because the whole battle stage was getting tilted. So Whitebeard showcasing his muscles against these giants. Now, we do know giants, their power vary and they're very huge, but it's been like the top tiers, really giants are not that really scary to the top tiers. The top tiers can really deal with giants, but I hope in Elbaf there's more stronger giants. Now, Whitebeard in the Marineford War, yes, he did go against the admirals. I'm going to discuss every single moment with each admiral, because, you know, admirals, I personally believe that admirals are amongst the top tiers in the One Piece story. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Khazar, Aokiji. When Whitebeard was going against Aokiji, we see the first move when Whitebeard brought the tsunami, Aokiji froze it, and then Aokiji tried to attack Whitebeard, but Whitebeard just broke the arrows that Aokiji was trying to hit him with, and Aokiji went straight to the ocean. It's crazy because Aokiji went to the ocean, but he actually froze it. But I just shows you that Whitebeard wasn't phased by Aokiji, and he kind of seen Aokiji as like a brat. You're like, what are you doing, man? And then I want to bring up the Khazar moment, in which a lot of people like to hype up Khazar, because if you guys seen, like, we know Khazar was trying to take out Whitebeard, but then Marco came out of nowhere. But there was a moment where Khazar was dealing with Whitebeard, and Whitebeard was getting lasered in his chest, and it seemed like Khazar had Whitebeard not doing anything. Now, I do want to say that at that time of the war, Whitebeard took so much damage, and he was fighting with Akainu, and he just was an old guy. He didn't have that much endurance. So the fact that Khazar was just playing around with him, just shooting lasers at him, is not something that I really want to put Whitebeard down for. But I do want to say this: we seen a moment where Khazar was trying to go stop Luffy from saving Ace, and Whitebeard just slashed at Khazar, and Khazar couldn't go anywhere. So it was like back and forth with Khazar and Whitebeard. Just really not that serious, just trolling. And I definitely feel like Whitebeard is a way above, not way above, but I believe he's above Khazar. Yes, I do believe he's above Khazar. And I'll be honest with you, the most interesting fight in the Marineford War for me, I've said it many times, Akainu is the most impressive character in the Marineford War. And most reason why I say this is because the way he went at Whitebeard, we've seen moments where he took off half of Whitebeard's face. He put a magma fist in Whitebeard's stomach. Now, people might say, yo, this is hype for Akainu. But personally, I feel like it's also hype for Whitebeard, because Whitebeard got half of his face taken out and he still was fighting. Now, think about you in real life. Imagine someone came at you and hit you with a magma fist and half your face is gone and you're still fighting. That just showcases some next level monstrous attacks. Now, we do know in the anime they censored it, so if you're anime only, you did not see Whitebeard's half his face come off. And also, we seen that Ace got the magma fist to his chest or his stomach, and he got his insides burnt. Whitebeard had the same thing, but he still was able to fight after it. So it just showcased the difference in durability. And I do want to say, we seen the moment where Whitebeard just completely destroyed Akainu, his rage for Ace. Now, because Ace died, Akainu killed him. Whitebeard went crazy. He was even tearing up, and he just went behind Akainu and him with the earthquake fist. Now, some people say he jumped Akainu, but still, Akainu got that work. He got wrecked. The anime kind of stretched it out, so I definitely suggest you guys read the manga. But yes, Akainu got that work, but it's just crazy because Akainu was still walking, like he was still fighting the Whitebeard commanders and everything. So it showcased that Whitebeard has the destructibility, and the Akainu fight is where you actually see how strong Whitebeard is, because I feel like Akainu is, I don't want to talk about Akainu. That's another video. But like I said, the Marineford War, I don't want to name this the amount of damage he took, but I remember at the end of the war when we saw Whitebeard's dead body, it named off all the attacks he took. It was like so much sword attacks, so much gun attacks, so much attacks he took in the One Piece or the Whitebeard War. It was like about in the 500s, I think. I'm not too sure. Someone in the comment section, please comment down the exact number of damage he took, because he saw that his back wasn't damaged. Yes, his back in the Marineford War wasn't damaged, and it showcases how crazy Whitebeard was, his power, his endurance, and he's old age and he's sick. And now the fact that he's in old age, it showcases that his endurance should be lower than his prime, and then he's actually sick too. Oh my gosh, old Whitebeard showed me something like, whoa, this is some crazy stuff, and I can't wait to see more of the Yonko, because he just showcased how powerful the top tiers are. The strongest man in the world. I definitely feel like he lived up to what we saw as the strongest man in the world. Now, I do want to talk about one thing. We heard that in the Marineford War, Sengoku, yes, we know Sengoku is one of the top tier characters in the One Piece story. He was the fleet admiral at the Marineford War. We saw him back in the day with Garp fighting top tiers like Shiki. I definitely feel like the comments by Sengoku are really interesting, because Sengoku says that Whitebeard has the power to destroy the world. And it kind of, if we remember that Garp and Goldie Roger were going at each other as Marines versus pirates, I kind of assume that Sengoku and Whitebeard in their primes are going at each other. And it's like, you saw Sengoku's power, his mythical Zoan, it's huge, it's shockwaves. So I'm just imagining in their prime Sengoku and Whitebeard fighting, and Sengoku might have saw something from Whitebeard. I think it might have been Awakening, where Whitebeard has the ability to do things that are never seen. He might have shaken the whole world as a test to show Sengoku how crazy his DC was, and that's why Sengoku was so shook and did all these things to prepare against Whitebeard. Now, I do think that Sengoku in his prime, I don't think he was equal to Whitebeard, but I think he was very close to Whitebeard. I think he was like probably a little bit under Whitebeard when it comes to power, because Sengoku is a very powerful character, yo. So it's very hyped to see how these fights went. I think that Sengoku Whitebeard fight in the past and Awakening was a huge aspect to their fights. Yes, we didn't see Awakening in the Marineford War, but the reason why I think we didn't see it is because there was so much Whitebeard pirates that if he awakened in that war, he would have killed his own people. And I feel like Whitebeard, that's the thing he did not want to do. There's a reason why Whitebeard split the actual island. You know, splitting an island is a feat in itself. He split the island to let the Whitebeard pirates escape. You know why? He was about to destroy Marineford. And you're probably thinking, yeah, we know this, Mac. We know this, Mac. I think he was about to destroy Marineford by using a secret power called Awakening, and it would have been so crazy. We saw Doflamingo's Awakening, the strings on the objects. Imagine earthquakes everywhere. Like, it's crazy. It's very crazy. Blackbeard was kind of shook from the power of his Dofu, and then we saw Whitebeard about to do Awakening. I think he was going to do Awakening. It was going to be very epic and very hype. Now, there is a huge controversy when it comes to Whitebeard's title. He's known as the strongest man in the world. Yes, he's known as the strongest man in the world. And we know versus Mihawk. Mihawk said, I want to see the difference between us and him. Now, people say he means, Mihawk is saying us and the Yonko. I think Mihawk is actually meaning us in the title of world's strongest man. We know Whitebeard stood in front of Goldie Roger's throne for 20 years. So I feel like Mihawk was seeing the difference between the man who's known as the strongest in the world and every single other character in the One Piece story. Now, I definitely feel like that title was more for him in his prime. So I definitely feel the controversy should not be that much of a controversy, because we definitely should look at some other details. But yeah, you got to get some hype to Whitebeard, yo. He is a very respected character. Now, I'm going to talk about a small moment. This is a very small moment. I don't even have to go too into detail, but there's a moment where Shiki came out of Impel Down, and the first person he came to was Whitebeard. And I feel like Shiki, Whitebeard, Roger were the strongest pirates in the One Piece world. But you kind of see the class when it comes to Shiki and Whitebeard. Now, Shiki was trying to do some spooky stuff, and Whitebeard pretty much said, yo, I'll kick you off the ship right now, I'll beat you up. And it kind of showcased that Whitebeard, you could say that just talk, because you know Shiki and Whitebeard should be on the same level equally. Not equally, but they should be around the same level, kind of like Sengoku and Whitebeard, where we do think that Whitebeard is stronger, but Shiki should be around there to give him a challenge. High difficulty fights should be in the numbers, but it was kind of funny seeing Whitebeard kind of treat him like he's nothing. I feel like it shows that Whitebeard, yo, he was a very bad man, yo. He could have dealt with him and just like just ended him, yo. I feel like the most great tool of information that we got when it comes to Whitebeard in his prime to showcase how strong he was is because they said that he was the only man to equal to Roger. Yes, let me repeat that. He was the only man to equal to Roger. And you gotta understand, there's a lot of characters in One Piece story, and Roger is kind of like the top when it comes to characters. So if he's the only man to equal Roger in the One Piece story, it just showcases how powerful he was and why he was known as the strongest man ever since Roger was taken out. Now, we do know that people say Garp was equal to Roger too, though it was never stated that Garp was equal to Roger. It did say that Garp and Roger almost killed each other multiple times, but it never said they were equal. And the fact that it says Whitebeard is the only equal man when it comes to destructive ability, it hypes up Roger, and it makes us wonder, what's the difference between Roger, Whitebeard, and Garp? Because you know what, Roger, Whitebeard, and Garp are most likely the strongest characters in the prime in the One Piece story. Think about it, these guys are the top, and people have been saying it's Roger, Whitebeard, then Garp. Some people say it's Roger, Garp, then Whitebeard. People have been debating Whitebeard versus Garp. Now, me personally, I'm going to take Whitebeard when it comes to it, though I do think when it comes to One Piece story, it's not just about who's stronger, it could be more about abilities and crazy stuff like that. So I definitely feel like a Garp versus Whitebeard fight would be very entertaining, though I will take the guy known as Shirohige. Now, we're finally at the part of the video in which I decide who is stronger between, not who's stronger, but how strong was Whitebeard. And I'm going to talk about two things. Like I said in this video, I'm going to discuss how he was in his old age in Marineford and how strong he was in his prime. I personally feel like Whitebeard in his prime was Pirate King level. And you probably think, whoa, come on, Mac. Goldie Roger's the only Pirate King. Yes, Goldie Roger's the only Pirate King, but we've seen when their discussion with Roger that Whitebeard didn't really care about Rafton becoming Pirate King. So the fact that he stated as the only man equal to Roger, I feel like you have to give him that level of Pirate King, because I don't think he's just a top tier character. I feel like he's above the top tier characters as a unique character. And in his prime, if we saw all the stuff he did in his old age and sickness, imagine at his prime. Oh my goodness. Now, when it comes to in his old age and he was sick and he was one of the Yonkos, the 4 strongest pirates in the One Piece world, the fact that he's one of the Yonkos, it showcases that, like, yes, he's known as the strongest man and that was his title, but think about it. Kaido right now is known as the strongest creature, but we all know that the Yonkos are most likely equal in power, and it's a little bit of a difference. So I definitely feel like when it comes to Whitebeard, people are going to hate me for saying this, but I do think that Whitebeard might have been one of the weakest Yonkos. Yes, though I do think all the Yonkos were equal. Shanks, Kaido, Big Mom seem to be more endurance, more in their prime, and I feel like Whitebeard was in sick in old age. The fact that he was sick is the reason why I think he was the weakest Yonko. If Whitebeard was just in old age, I think he would be not the weakest Yonko. But the fact that he was sick with it, imagine the other Yonkos going to fight Whitebeard. They would have the edge, I personally believe. Now, there's been a translation error in which people think that Kaido said that Whitebeard beat him. No, Kaido never said that Whitebeard beat him. Kaido said he was jealous of Whitebeard for dying because Kaido wishes to die. So that was a translation error in the chapter 795 in the episode 739. I also want to talk about one other thing. Blackbeard's words are so spooky. When Blackbeard says that Whitebeard, oh, look how bad you look how bad you look, pretty much saying that Whitebeard is so not close to his level of which Blackbeard knows. Blackbeard was on Whitebeard's crew for 20 years. He knows Whitebeard's power, his abilities. The fact that he was disappointed in Whitebeard showcased that Whitebeard was not even near the point of level in which Whitebeard should be at. Though I do want to say, at his old age, taking on all the Marines, the Admirals, and just pretty much tanking so much hits, I feel like a prime Whitebeard ain't taking that much hits, yo. He's dodging a lot of these attacks. Squardo hit him in the chest. So I definitely feel like people are going to hate on me for saying that Whitebeard is the weakest Yonko. I definitely think I'm not going to say he's the weakest Yonko 100%, but I personally believe he's one of the weakest Yonkos when it comes to his old age at the Marineford War and his sickness. His sickness is the most important thing. He was actually sick. If he's stronger than all the Yonkos while being old and sick, the Yonkos are going to lose some little bit of hype. So that's why I believe in it. But people might say, put down in the comment section, because I love reading your guys' comments. Even if you guys disagree with me, I love reading your guys' comments when it comes to who is the strongest and your power level opinions. Like and share if you enjoyed. Like and share only if you enjoyed. And subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the LegendMac, and I'm gone.